Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to do a follow-up to that video we did yesterday talking about Concord, and I guess by extension we'll talk about Dustborn, and we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat 1 too. What do all these games have in common? Well, they're all supposedly AAA titles that are very indicative of the current state of AAA gaming, which is a lot of DEI and a lot of vitriol toward gamers, by the people who make these games, and it's not going very well for them. This is Concord. I just checked this a couple of minutes ago. 257 people playing it right now. This game just came out, by the way, and cost a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars. 24-hour peak, 380 people on Steam, and 697 is the all-time peak. I have seen indie games with no marketing push whatsoever get stealth released on Steam that have higher player counts than this. I'm just saying. If you're gonna start ripping apart gamers and all that, they're reciprocating in kind. And they're not buying your game. They're not playing your game. So this one's Concord. And then let's see here. This one is Dustborn. All-time peak, 83 players. 50 players right now. 77 24-hour peak. And that will drop off a freaking cliff. Actually, I think people are playing it just to see how bad it actually is. But let's talk about this pushback from the people working on these games. And it does seem like, consulting firms like Sweet Baby Inc. have their meat hooks into a lot of AAA studios. And you want to know why everybody's laying off. You want to know why studios are getting shut down. This is it. This is like, it's coming to a head right now. We're going to see catastrophic failures because as these games get released, and as a lot of these companies, show their true colors, what they actually think about gamers, and gamers are going to close their wallets. I mean, it sounds very cliche. I know it sounds very cliche because people are like, well, it closed, but it's 100% true. We saw it with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That was an Arkham title. That should have been huge, but gamers were wise to them. It didn't look good when it came out. It wasn't good. And it was also live service. That doesn't help, but attacking the gamers who are your potential customers, having meltdowns on Twitter never helps you sell product. And at the end of the day, you need to do your best to make, lemonade out of the lemons that you grew yourself. So you have to try to sell as many copies of these shitty games as you can if you want to get a job working on another shitty game. But the mindset of these people is entitlement. And you will buy their product, bigots. You will like it. You'll consume it. You'll shut your damn mouths, and then you'll buy more so they can keep working because they're entitled to work in the video game industry. And gamers are telling them that, no, you're not. It's just like anything else. If you don't perform, you get gone. And so many devs are getting gone. And they're shocked. I can't believe that they're shocked. I'm shocked that they're shocked. Because you could see the sales, and you could see the trends, and you could see where things were going. And you see that gamers are going back and playing older games. Of course, you're going to lose your jobs because there's no reason for you to be here. And a lot of these games were bankrolled by venture capital, by private equity, by government money in the case of Dustborn. And the free rides are over. So now you got to sell. You have to sell your product to the gamers you despise. So you better start learning how to suck up, or at least lie through your teeth or something, or just shut the hell up. Get off of Twitter, because every time you tweet your disdain for gamers, more wallets close. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. This comes from Bounding into Comics. Spencer Baculi put it up, so I gotta give him a hat tip. Concord dev writes off critics. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? Oh my God. This is, who is this? This is Xander Farrell, now former Firewalk Studios member, who worked on Concord as a view model animator. In other words, the animations undertaken by the player character's model when in first-person view. Okay, admittedly, things start off innocently enough with Farrell, who uses the they-them pronouns taking to their Twitter on August 23rd to congratulate the team on the release of the title. Okay, well, that's fine. As Concord release day beamed the animator. So insanely proud of the team and what they and we have accomplished, a labor of love like nothing else. Been playing it so much since early access started, and I'm excited for it to be available. Well, that's fine. That's good. And I'm so honored to have had this be my first AAA game. I hate to break it to you, Xander, it might be your last. You're only as good as your last game, but whatever. It was a huge learning experience, lots of struggles, but I'm glad to have gone through them. Time to go play. Okay, that's fine. That's good. That's good. You're excited. You're beaming excitement. Gamers, potential customers are going to pick up on that. Unfortunately, from there, things took a sharp turn into disaster. In response to the post, another Twitter user attempted to offer the animator their genuine condolences for Concord's abysmal reception, telling them, "I'm so sorry this has to be your first. I do not believe it's you or any of the other devs' fault that the game has performed so poorly." I could tell a lot of effort was put into completing this game. It just came out at the wrong time and genre. Rather than thanking them for the message, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That was actually a good message. Liking their post or simply acknowledging their post in private, Farrell instead offered it a now deleted reply. I don't care. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Talentless freaks. To further compound matters for the Concord team, despite Farrell's assertion, it seems the game absolutely needs the interest of some of those talentless freaks in order to survive. Yeah, it's actually gotten worse. This was earlier today, and it's 257 people are playing it. This is a catastrophic failure. Catastrophic failure. Moving on, let's talk about Dustborn. I did not play Dustborn. Obviously, nobody's playing this game. But somebody said that actually cancel culture is an attack in the game. I'm not kidding. Cancel culture is an attack. You can learn how to cancel someone in Dustborn. You also have a trigger button to scream at people and call them racist. Cancel will allow us to isolate people from their friends and compatriots in battle. This could be a useful tool against enemies. So the people working on this game are actually telling you what they think, right? This is like a Freudian slip. They are telling you why they use cancel culture. It's to separate you from your tribe, to make you an outcast so they can better destroy you because you don't have a network to rely on. You don't have friends or family or a job or whatever. They want to destroy you. You're not playing ball. You're a pain in their ass. You're speaking truth to power, which is, your games suck or your comic books suck or your movies suck. And again, those are just opinions. And then, back in the day, we had, Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets and hecklers were hecklers, right? But things have definitely taken a turn for the worse. Things have gotten very dark, and it went from being like, oh my God, these people won't shut up. Okay, whatever. Back in the day, we used to acknowledge that not everybody liked everything that was produced. There have always been hecklers, but that was it. It basically there was a line that was not crossed, and now it's like, oh no, these hecklers, they're literal Nazis, and we need to destroy them, or vice versa. The hecklers actually try to dox and harass people, and that's not good either. So it's like, but. It's so weird, this game, which I believe Dustborn was the one that was funded by the Norwegian government. I'm sorry. I know we have some people from Norway that watch the channel. But yeah, they're telling you, their playbook. They're showing you the playbook. This is what we do. This is why we do it. Ha ha ha, it's so cute. We're going to do it in game. Isn't that edgy? Isn't that fun? But the reality is no, this is 100% how they do it. Ask Troy Levitt, who worked on Hogwarts Legacy, which has a lot more players than Concord or, Dustborn does, right? I had to think about the name of this game. I wanted to call it Stillborn or Justborn or whatever, because everybody's making fun of this thing. But nobody's playing it. Nobody's going to remember this game other than it being pure cringe in 6 months. I don't even think people are going to play it ironically, but it is very telling that this is literally what they think. This is literally what they think. Speaking of Sweet Baby Inc., let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1, which I played like 2 hours of. And I have no interest. And they're gender swapping the cyborgs now from Mortal Kombat 3, Cyrax and Sector. And apparently Sweet Baby Inc. is supposedly involved in this game to some degree. They said gender swap versions of Cyrax and Sector are coming to Mortal Kombat 1. It generated allegations that they deferred to Sweet Baby Inc. and their DEI mandates, which, again, does wonders for your business, right? And they probably did, because they were involved in Suicide Squad, and that was a massive failure for Warner Brothers. So yeah, I could totally see them calling them in. It's so weird. The Mortal Kombat franchise now is basically Smash Brothers with R-rated movies. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they got all these characters from all these movie franchises that make no damn sense. It said Sector and Cyrax cyborg characters that had previously appeared in the Mortal Kombat series were also included in the DLC. They both already exist as cameo characters. New playable versions are women instead of men. Shouldn't be a surprise, as Mortal Kombat 1 is a series reboot. Yeah, I didn't care for it. I really didn't. It came out at the same time as Street Fighter 6, and Street Fighter 6 is vastly superior. They changed several characters. Raiden's no longer a god. Liu Kang is the god. Melina's Katana's sister. Yeah. There are some questions as to Nether Realm Studios' motivations for the change. Warner Brothers Games, publisher of Mortal Kombat 1, is a client of Sweet Baby Inc. That is true. For those unfamiliar, God, how can you not be at this point if you're following any of this stuff? They're an inclusion-focused narrative and consultation company reviewing and editing scripts focused on diversity and inclusion, basically DEI. They're one of the biggest proponents, I believe, of DEI in video games, and pretty much everything they touch turns to shit. I mean, it does. And this is kind of kicked off Gamergate 2, which I think they tried to kick it off with Hogwarts Legacy, the media did. Now, Sweet Baby Inc. definitely ratcheted everything up to a whole nother level. But now there are we're talking massive numbers of gamers who will boycott anything that Sweet Baby Inc. has touched. And I think this is just part of the zeitgeist, right? Like, everybody's ditching DEI because it doesn't make money, because nobody wants it in games. But they made a career for themselves being consultants for years. And a lot of these games are just coming out now because it takes years for this stuff to come out. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other games that they've gotten their fingers into that just haven't released yet. Players have found recurring patterns in games they work on. This focus on DEI allegedly results in ham-fisted attempts at hip and modern writing, attempts at diversity that come across as pandering, and a complete aversion to having attractive female characters. Yeah, there is an ongoing bullet point list of things that are problematic. And we saw this in comics too. And I think it actually started in tabletop, and then it got into comics and animation. And now it's working its way through movies and video games. And it's the same people that have been bitching about everything being problematic for like 10 years, 12 years. They're just kind of up in the ante. Like, tabletop and comics are not that big of a scene, so they could get into it pretty easily. And now it's just like they're just working their way through all the media. And video games are huge. They're hugely influential, bigger than movies on some levels, on many levels. And yeah, so that's a massive platform. And if you're an activist and your job is to change the world, come hell or high water, you want the loudest megaphone, the biggest platform. So they worked on Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, and the infamous Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which cost Warner Brothers $200 million. They said that they're not listed in the credits, but I think the backlash against them was already starting. Grums claims that Warner Brothers and Sweet Baby Inc. worked together, and now we have female Cyrax and Sector. Is it a coincidence? The fact that Mortal Kombat girls used to look like this is still insane to me. Yeah, Mortal Kombat. I noticed that with the last game too. That we're talking about a game where you see women from the inside, and not in a fun way. You see women from the inside, and they're worried about them being properly covered up. I'm like, you're gonna split that bitch right down the middle. Again, not in the fun way. You're gonna see her innards. Why does it matter if you see her cleavage? Because you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have her chest ripped like right open. Why does it matter? But Mortal Kombat's always been a lightning rod for controversy. In fact, that was the first game series that and Night Trap, I remember being the games that Tipper Gore had a huge problem with back in the day that led to the ESRB. Mortal Kombat was like, oh my God, parents were so shocked. Oh my God, look at how realistic it looks. Go back and play Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal Kombat 2. Tell me how realistic it looks, by today's standards. Shredder here says, instead of changing our favorite characters, why couldn't we have gotten a pink cyborg? A lame change. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, nobody's saying we can't have more female characters. Nobody's saying we can't have more ethnically diverse characters. Nobody's saying we can't have more gay characters, whatever. What is going on, though, is they take existing characters, existing franchises, and they change them because they don't want to have legacy characters butt up alongside of their new characters because they know in a lot of ways these new characters are simply there for diversity points. They don't have fleshed out backstories and they can't compete. So you take out the competition. We can't have two versions of Iron Man. So we're gonna kill Tony Stark and then we're gonna bring in Riri Williams. You know what I'm saying? Because if you put them side by side, it usually, not always, but usually doesn't work. Now, the one example I can think of in comics where it does tend to work is Spider-Man. Miles Morales and Peter Parker, but they've also gone out of their way, and this is just an opinion, but they've gone out of their way to like completely destroy Peter Parker and make him a lot less likable over the past couple of years. And just, you know what I'm saying? I believe to elevate potentially Miles Morales, because a lot of kids think Miles is cooler because Peter Parker is kind of a loser. He's always been a loser, but now he's just a sad sack, right? Mandalango says, dang, the game that we had congressional hearings about has given into the modern audience. What a time to be alive. Yeah. Gender swap, desex, sanitized for a modern audience. Once edgy, it's now stale and tired. Yeah, I think it's boring as hell. I don't really care for Mortal Kombat 1. They gender swapped and ruined beloved characters. This is the most glaring example of forced DEI. They said the way Cyrax reveals her face just to ask, where are you, in a completely incongruous accent with her intentionally designed generic and androgynous face is a hollow and shameless attempt to proclaim, look at us, we're diverse. I think Cyrax was black originally, though. I think it was a black dude. But we have to show everybody Cyrax is a woman now. Yeah, so, I mean, look, you get what you deserve, I think. I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to be a dick. But it is very clear that this is not working. I don't think Mortal Kombat 1 is doing that well either. A lot of people were pissed off last year, I remember, because they had $10 Fatality DLC. But there you go, guys. I think we're going to see a lot of this. I think after Q4, I think into next year, we are going to see January, February, into March, a shit ton of layoffs. I think we're going to see a lot more layoffs because a lot of these games are going to have the holidays probably to sell, and if they don't, more people are going to get gone. And it's pretty sad when you've got games that are made by just a handful of people, programmers, outperforming a lot of this shit. I'm just saying, gamers are over it. They're done with it. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.